So it looks like Drake is demanding justice after being ridiculed at the Super Bowl. It looks like the situation with UMG and the lawsuit that Drake has against UMG has taken an interesting turn now that he's bringing up the Super Bowl, claiming that he was ridiculed in front of millions of viewers in the update in this defamation lawsuit. They're trying to say that the plaintiff, which is Drake, he is opposing a request from UMG Records to delay the initial pretrial conference, which is known as a PTC, scheduled for April 2nd, 2025. Drake also asked the judge to order UMG to participate in a mandatory meeting called the Rule 26. So when you see Rule 26F, that basically means that he wants to arrange a meeting between him and UMG and the scheduled parties. Now it says here why the plaintiff opposes the request. Why is Drake opposing the request? He's saying that UMG has not provided any legal or factual reasons to justify postponing the conference. Drake is saying that UMG is using a delay tactic to avoid having to participate in the conference, which is a required step under the rules. Drake also argues that UMG should not be allowed to delay the process just to buy more time to think about their motion to dismiss. Now, this is all going back to UMG using their time carefully so that way they could dismiss the case. They're not even trying to take this to court at all, but they need more time to do that. Drake is trying to hurry this up so that way it could stay in motion. The main goal for Drake is so that way he could have that meeting. Once they have that meeting, they could plan the discovery process. The discovery is the phase where both sides exchange evidence and information relevant to the case. Now, there is a time limit to when they could have this meeting. It's about 21 days before the initial pretrial, and that date is scheduled for April 2nd. So if anything, all this should go down by mid-March, if anything, if it does go down. But this whole meeting basically is so that way they could both sit down, exchange the proper documents, any written questions, etc., any discovery method, whatever the case may be. Now, in this second page here, they have a discussion about adjournment. During talks about setting a schedule for legal filing, UMG suggested that the initial pretrial conference be delayed until after motion to dismiss is decided. Plaintiff's response, which is Drake's response, he disagrees and says that he is eager to start the discovery immediately, demanding justice fast because he was ridiculed. Now, this is Drake demanding that they step it up, hurry it up, whatever the case may be. In the letter that Drake had sent them, it says here that Drake filed a letter to UMG's consent, asking the court to set clear deadlines for response and reply regarding the motion to dismiss. UMG's response to all of this, UMG did not give a valid reason for not having the conference, but said it wasn't necessary yet because the deadline for the conference isn't until March 12th of 2025. They also said that they could consider the timing of the conference closer to that date. But Drake is becoming persistent in his request, stating that the conference needs to happen as soon as possible, not just by the deadline. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On page 3, this is where he starts talking about the Super Bowl. But basically, to break this all down, it says that Drake's argument is to deny UMG's request to adjourn the pretrial conference. Drake argues that the court should reject UMG's request to delay the conference because UMG is trying to stop discovery without filing a formal motion to do so. This is where Drake starts saying that they're being prejudiced to him. Delaying discovery harms the plaintiff, which is Drake, because they are still suffering from defamatory actions UMG is accused of. UMG continues to spread defamatory content, including the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, which had over 133.5 million viewers, claiming that electronic evidence and other things like that around text messages and social media may be lost if discovery is delayed, particularly because much of this type of evidence is not preserved automatically. If this evidence is lost, it would harm Drake's case. So this is why Drake wants them to hurry up, because he wants to gather as much information as possible from the Super Bowl. I guess he's going to talk about the Super Bowl now and everything else. I guess he's going to add that to the 81 pages, probably make some changes to the complaint, the 81-page complaint, 200 and some paragraphs full of issues that Drake had after the beef. And like I said, this is Drake basically admitting that he knows the numbers for the Super Bowl. He knows how many people watch the Super Bowl. He knows that he's being ridiculed at the Super Bowl. And this is why he wants to move things faster. He wants to get as much evidence as he can as fast as possible while it's still fresh. So that way he could take it to court and go against UMG. but UMG is claiming that this is premature. UMG argues that the conference is too early because the complaint is in flux, but the plaintiff says that this is misleading and legally irrelevant. Drake calling it irrelevant. Drake's response is that he agrees to address UMG's concerns about one specific factual allegation in the complaint. However, even if the plaintiff, which is Drake, were to make changes to this one allegation, it would only affect 5 paragraphs out of the 237 paragraphs in an 81-page complaint. UMG has not explained why this minor change warrants delaying the conference, nor has it shown how the small change would affect the preparation for the conference. But Drake is saying that even if I were to go in there and change it or fix it or make changes to the 81-page complaint, it would only affect 5 paragraphs and doesn't understand why we can't move forward. Drake is basically saying he doesn't understand why it would take that long if it's not the biggest part of his argument, only removing 5 paragraphs from the 81-page complaint. I wonder what UMG had chose from those 81 pages that they try to argue so that way they could delay time. Drake argues that UMG's claim that the conference is premature is irrelevant and unsupported, especially given the minor change UMG is requesting in this complaint. Additionally, Drake asked the court to order UMG to participate in the conference by March 5th because UMG has provided no reason why they can't meet sooner, and waiting until the deadline will go against the requirement to meet as soon as possible. This is Drake requesting UMG to comply with the rules and engage in the required conference properly. All that to say that Drake wants to hurry this shit up because the Super Bowl just happened. Everybody's posting about it. He got ridiculed in front of 133 million people. And he wants to hurry this up so that way he could probably add this to the discovery, probably make an argument about it, continue to move forward, do all of this while this is still fresh. But it all goes back to the Super Bowl. It all goes back to Drake being ridiculed at the Super Bowl, him not being cool with it, him aware that they had garnered millions and millions of views at the Super Bowl where Kendrick had performed Not Like Us, the song that Drake hates, the song that put Drake in this position where he's going against his label, because the Super Bowl halftime show where Kendrick performs Not Like Us garnered 133.5 million views, where everybody was singing Not Like Us at Drake's expense. So this is definitely Drake just trying to speed things up because he did not like the fact that millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people were watching the Super Bowl halftime show where he was being ridiculed. Even if UMG has to go with this case, even if UMG has to address this faster than they want to, and them failing to delay it, I really don't think that Drake will win this argument. I really don't think that Drake will win this court case. That's just my opinion. We keep it alleged, especially when Drake has been a person that has used UMG to get into beefs with other people in the past, where Drake has came out as the person on top. Now that he comes out on the bottom and Kendrick is the winner, KTW, it seems like this is where Drake starts having an issue with UMG. I just think it's crazy how Drake is trying to argue that delaying the discovery process may harm his case. I don't think there's a difference between the case happening now and in March, whatever the case may be. Drake is just arguing that delaying the discovery is just jeopardizing his situation from obtaining evidence from all platforms. I think that's just what he wants to do. I think he wants to keep this case fresh. Realistically, I don't think that Drake is going to win this lawsuit. Whether you speed it up or it goes and delays, whatever the case may be, I really don't think that it would matter. I don't think that Drake would win this case at all because of all the things that he's been tied to with UMG. UMG has helped his career so much. The fact that the minute that you lose, you start to blame your label. It just doesn't really look good. So I don't think that delaying it is going to really make a difference. I don't think that if they had a court date tomorrow, it would make a difference. I think Drake just wants all of this to happen now. So that way, all the stuff that's being posted on the internet about the Super Bowl and everything, while it's still fresh in people's minds, he could use that as a benefit for him to go against this case. If this case happens sooner while everything is still fresh, I guess he feels that this would benefit his case. But I don't think it would matter, to be honest with you. But mind you, I didn't pass the bar exam. I'm just reading this online and trying to make sense of it. Y'all can let me know how you feel in the comments. What do you feel about the lawsuit, Drake, UMG, Super Bowl, him aware of the millions of viewers that saw the Super Bowl, and now he's trying to use it in court to go against UMG in regards to Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Y'all tell me how you feel about this and get back to me, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it alleged.